Good evening, everyone. We're going to kick off this session looking at the Astrocasts website. Where we left off last time is we started to implement some basic navigation across the top. We were matching, let's see if we still have the sketch document open here. We were matching the mockups to, here we go. Now that's not switching the way I wanted it to. Here we go. So we're matching some basic mockups that I'd put together. I just kind of wanted to have something to shoot for. And so we were able to get pretty close to that. Things aren't working here. There we go. So we're able to get pretty close to that, at least a good starting point. Ideally, what I'd like to do is start building out on these pages relatively quickly, but we'll see how that goes. We started to take a look at some Twitch integration, and that turned out to be hairier than I thought it was going to be. Let's see if I can pull that up here. We're going to be in the Astrocast project. Here we go. And there were some things that I had kind of misunderstood about the way that the webhook system was going to be working with validation. And essentially, I made it more complicated than I needed to. We didn't actually have to validate the verify subscription request that we receive, but what we have to do is validate any actual webhook notifications we receive. So I'm not really sure which way I want to go. I'm not sure if I want to continue on the webhook subscription stuff right now, or move on to sort of trying to figure out a video model and integrating with Vimeo. So I think maybe since we have already started with the webhook subscription, I might try to do just a little bit more with that for now, and then see if we can do something else from there. So one thing I would like to do is try to get this application actually generating real, no. So I'd actually have to deploy this to test it. I'm not really sure how I'm going to be doing that with Heroku and dealing with secrets. So maybe I'm going to do the other thing first. Yeah, let's maybe talk about the video model. So eventually I want the subscription, or not the subscription, I want there to be like a course style layout. I want people to be able to browse previous screencasts. They should be distinguished between live and sort of like pre-recorded, a little more polished type episodes. So that's what I'm going to be wanting to split these down into. I also have some other ideas that I've been playing with of program, courses, class, lesson, and video, but I don't know if that's going to be what we need right away. Right away, what I need to do is be able to show the previous version or previous episodes in more of like a river style format. So I think I'm going to focus on that first, and maybe just implement video. So let's go ahead and say video model and individual video, and video list. So if I'm able to provide these things, I think I'd be pretty happy. If we go to our maker bundle, I'm going to create a controller. Make controller, and let's call it for now just video. And call it videos actually. So we have videos controller. It's going to create videos index. Don't actually want that, to be honest. Fortunately, it's easy to roll these things back. Get to diff. Let's do the cached. All right, so add Twitch, Twitch. There we go. And I'm just going to reset these. Here we go. All right, so we're going to undo the maker bundle thing that I had done. Except I do want to add this back in. Okay, so and then we can get rid of the rest. So I think what I actually need is a model. So not the controller just yet. And really, I don't want to be using Doctrine necessarily long-term for this, but I think it might be the easiest way to get started for this application. So we'll do, and we're going to make entity, create CRUD for Doctrine entity class. I haven't used this, so I'm curious what that's going to look like, but I think I'm going to do create or update a Doctrine entity class. Actually, an API platform resource. Let's see what I need for that. Make entity blog post. Options. I'm going to try to do API resource just to see what that does. Then I'm guessing I'm going to have to require some additional things for this one to work. Make entity API resource, and let's call this console generate. Interesting. So I might try to do that regenerate at some point, but we'll call this just simply video. All right, so this is going to add a huge amount of dependencies to our application, which is fine. It's kind of one of the nice things about Flex. It's just going to make it easier to manage. So we're actually installing two packs. We're installing the API pack and the ORM pack. So it did a considerable amount of stuff. Configure version. So actually, I'm going to want to use Postgres for this instead of MySQL. Let's see. Try to use Navicat here. Where did it end up? There we go. Enter full screen. All right, so my connections. Let's create a new Postgres connection to my local database. See if this actually gets connected. I'm guessing it's not going to work. Oh, it worked. Great. All right, so public. What I'd like to do is create a new database, and we'll call this Astrocasts. I'm not going to choose an owner. If I don't have to, I'm just going to connect like this. Let's see if that works. Awesome. All right, so Astrocast database is now created. It's public. If I recall correctly, I actually have some weird things to do in order to get this stuff to work right with Postgres. So server version is 5.7, and we need to look in packages doctrine.yaml. Yeah, so this added a ton of new bits to this application, a bunch of which I'm not really comfortable with and don't know very well. So it's going to be interesting to try to walk through these. I think was it doctrine.yaml? Yeah. So I'm going to go into the doctrine project here and see. So env database URL. It's a fallback database URL. Not going to worry about that actually. These for your database server. I am going to switch these though. I'm going to do PDO, PGSQL. Let's see if that works right. Database URL. All right. For database URL. Now we don't want MySQL. So I'm going to use, I'm just going to look it up real quick. Doctrine database URL Postgres. Here we go. And they don't actually show any good examples for this. Awesome. Configuration document reference bundle. All right. Maybe I do need server version. Didn't think I did, but maybe I do. DB user, DB password. And host. Port. So what do we have for this connection here? Server version, port, and user is Postgres. I don't think there was a password. All right, let's see if we can do stuff with that. All right, so doctrine schema validate. Doctrine makers validate the mapping files. Or SQL need to generate the database schema. All right, well, let's just do this. All right. This should be enough to tell me whether it's actually working. Connection refused, connection refused. All right. So it's still trying to do doctrine, or it's still trying to do MySQL. So PGSQL. That was the env.dist file. There we go. All right, let's see if this connects correctly now. All right, Postgres, valid parameter, client encoding. So I'm guessing this is more defaults, default table options. A little unclear to me. All right, client encoding. Still getting the same thing, so entity F8 MB8. Oh. Okay, cool. So we know we're actually connected to the database now, which is great. So the next thing we need to do is go take a look at the file that was created. So video providers Dr. We should look in app. Our source entity didn't actually create an entity. Huh. Created those directories. Oh, okay, entity generated. I wonder what it did the first time, because it didn't apparently do what I wanted it to. Energy entities fields. Return to stop adding fields. API platform. I want to see what people are doing for this. All right. Let's just be simple here. We'll do title. Field type. Nice. Let's do GUID. This will be null in the database. New. All right. Title. We'll do string. Should be good. I don't really think we should have a nullable title. Another property. Description. Sure. Yes. All right, what else are we going to do here? Probably a published date. And for this, let's do date mutable, just for fun. Yes. All right. Let's do Vimeo ID. Oh. And for this, we'll do integer. Yes. And maybe let's be done with that for now. All right, so all the things that we have in here should now show up in our video entity. It's created a repository for us automatically. This is one of the other nice things that the Maker Bundle is going to do. Gives you some ideas for what kind of repository methods you can actually create to sort of do like the builder stuff. Let's see here. What else is in here? Video has a bunch of private methods. It has a bunch of things mapped. It's already created the mappings to put them in the migrations. So let me go ahead and commit things as they are now. Git add, or at least add them. Composer, Symfony, and config. What else do we have? Okay, that was all of it. Wait, did I get too aggressive there? Status. Yeah, I did a little bit. All right. We don't want Twitch in there. So that was just a, what did I have in there? Yeah, that's what we were testing with the create. That's what we were using to test our subscriptions. So we're going to do the migrations. So let's say generate a blank migration class. I know they used to have generate entities, generates entity classes, method stubs. Wow, there's a lot of these. I don't think I've tried to bring this in before. Migrations, diff, execute, generate, latest, status. Huh. To your mappings here. So we want to do the diff. But I actually want to do the help first. I want to see if there's a way to do like a dry run. Let's see here. Help quiet. Display this message. All right. All right, I'm just going to run it without help. All right, so it created a new migration. I'm going to go check that out and see what that looks like. All right, so we have an up. Create sequence, video ID sequence. I didn't want that. All right, so let's remove this because we don't want this. Okay. I need to look more closely at the video itself. So it has an ORM ID, generated value. Doctrine ORM. Okay. All right, so we can remove this ID that was here originally. We want to add that to video ID. Get rid of this entirely. And for the generated value, we need strategy UUID. Let's see where else we have ID. So we don't really need this. Video ID is a string. Set ID, set publish date. All right, let's try this again. All right, there we go. All right, so we're gonna go check the new migration now. All right, so create table video ID is a UID, it's not null. Title varchar, description varchar, default null, publish date, Vim UID. Okay, cool. I'm actually okay with that. So let's go ahead and run the migration. Let's see. execute. Someone in chat said, did it freeze? Josh, I'm not sure if it's actually frozen for you. As far as I can tell, it's still broadcasting on my side. So if it's stuck or frozen, let me know and I'll see if I have to kick something. I don't know. Missing version. Migrations, migrate. Let me see here. All right, so you're about to execute a database migration. Yes, I'm ready to continue. All right, so if I go back to Navicat, I should actually have a table now. All right, let's see here. Would have thought it would be in there. Maybe we need to refresh. Unless it's... It ended up here somehow. No. Let's open the connection again. I wonder if it went elsewhere. Table. Sure you want to execute this? Yes. All right. I'm not exactly sure what's going on here. Let's see if we can go to... I do have my Postgres terminal elsewhere. Let's see. Astrocasts. Let's see, input, output. Let's see if I can pull this over. I'm not actually very super familiar with Postgres, so let's do... There we go. So need a little refresher. List table space is DB. All right. That's not going to be super helpful. Let's see. No migrations to execute. Thinks it's doing something. Fun times. Let's see. Postgres. I'm not sure how this is actually running. So we got conditional input output. DT. Why do we have a user table? This does not make sense. All right, so it must be, what's going on here is this Postgres URL is not, it's, all right. Where were we looking at that earlier? All right, we need /db name. So we're gonna do there we go. All right, awesome. Now we should actually have a table. Yep, we have video, and we have the migration versions folder or directory. So, okay, so we have some stuff in here, which is good. Now, let's go back to our home controller. Right now we're passing just controller name. I'm going to see if we can get the videos repository. And then let's pass in some videos. Find all. All right, let's see. All right, well, it didn't die, so that's good. The other thing I want to do is I need to go back in and not have this thing pop up and render on me anymore. Class name. Here we go. Return. All right, so If I go back to Astrocasts tests, it should just stay looking for live screencast. I don't want that popping up quite a bit, so this will probably help with that. We don't actually have any videos yet, so let's go ahead and create one of those. I'm going to see if we managed to create any console commands. Console. I want to see if it made anything for app. Okay, Swagger report, assets install. No. Okay. Let's see if we have fixtures. Create a new class to load doctrine fixtures. I want to see what we can do with that. See if we can just bootstrap this a little bit. Missing composer requires ARM fixtures, dev. All right. All right. I'm not going to do the template yet. All right, so we have an empty directory with data fixtures that was added with the recipe. I'm going to add the migration. All right. I'm going to try to run make fixtures again, this time with help, just to see what other things we might want to do with this. We'll call it app fixtures. All right, we'll try that. Okay. Load your fixtures by running fixtures load. All right. Cool. New product manager persist. All right, so what we have then is a object manager, so we can create videos. So video. Set. I think that's actually a bug. We shouldn't have a setter for that. So I'm pretty sure we shouldn't. All right, so I said Vimeo ID 1, 2, 3, 4. Title 1. What else do we have set? Publish date. I think we said that could be null, so let's leave that null for now. What did I do? Fixtures. Select UID generate v4 function matches. Huh. I'm going to actually add that to our migration. Let's see if this actually works. All right, so migrations. One of these I know I can revert from basically 0. Well, doctrine database drop. Not sure if I'll actually have access to do this as this user. All right. I know one of these lets me re-roll from 0. So version you wish to migrate to, current +3. Is there a rollback? Let's execute. All right. Alias are defined as first. All right. Awesome. I think what I'm going to do is cheat and remove these tables using the GUI, because GUIs are fun. All right. All right, so I've created the extension, and then now we can try to run the fixture. Awesome, cool. So if we go into videos now, we should actually have a video, which doesn't have a publish date, but it does have a Vimeo ID. This also means that inside we're actually going to go inside the HTML, and let's see what we can do in here. So let's just start hacking. Below the player. All right. I'll call this a win if we can at least list these. least for now. Awesome. Cool. So it took a little longer than I had hoped it would to be able to create a new model. But we actually have an episode in there now, so that's good. Let's go ahead and create a couple more for our fixtures so we can do something a little more interesting. Let's go app fixtures. One to two. One to three. One to four. Let's rerun fixtures and reload homepage, and we have what we're expecting here. Things are showing up not in the order that I want them to, but I think that's going to be fine for now. So the other thing I think we wanted to have on here was probably some sort of slug. So I might not get too far into these for now. For individual videos, for example, if you're browsing, I'd like to be able to get to like a pretty URL and not just a GUID. Maybe for now I won't worry about making it fancier than it needs to be. I'd like to see if there are other controllers that were created. So repository. Because I know that I had mentioned bringing in the API platform stuff, but I don't know if it just does that automatically. So I haven't done anything with it before. Doctrine. Paths, kernel project source entity. Yeah, I guess it's probably just going to create those for me. I'll have to figure out how to do that another time. All right. Josh in chat just said he'd be interested in seeing a slugify function at some point. I think that could be interesting to look at, actually. The difficulty with building slug style functionality like that is handling it when you change. So I think it could be pretty easy to handling when it's change and handling collisions. So if I accidentally type in episode 3 as a title a second time, what's going to happen? There are some strategies for that, saying, episode 3-2, and then episode 3-3, if people keep doing that. But oftentimes I want to go in and clean those things up later. I'm not sure how quickly I want to get into that. But it probably wouldn't hurt to start looking at the admin interface for managing these. Doing fixtures isn't going to last very long. And I was curious about trying to use the API platform admin UI. And it uses React. So this is probably going to get me into a lot of trouble if I try to do this right now. But on the other hand, I don't really have a whole lot to lose. So let's see. Fancy full feature administration interface. All right. Okay, so I see Josh in chat is laughing. So features, documentation. All right. So I've already brought API platform in. So API platform admin, features, getting started, installation. I don't have a create React app. What's npx? This is going to be a deep rabbit hole, I have a feeling. npx create React. No. Yarn. All right. Yarn create React app, my app. Okay. I don't really understand where you would do this in a Symfony application. Wow. Okay, Symfony API platform admin example. And you're done. Yay. Great. My guess is that this just needs to be in the public directory. Wow. Well, let's just see what happens. This will be fun. I need create React app. And that was using yarn create React app. All right. API platform admin same repository. All right, looks like someone else just joined. I don't remember how to pronounce your name, but thank you for joining again. Yeah, my bad. It's screen handle is MABLAE. It's off my head here right now. If you can remind me how to pronounce your name, I'd be happy to remember for the next time. You're an admin. Let's see here. Server. You know, I'm not sure. Okay. Sounds like they don't know how to pronounce their screen handle either. So that's awesome. So if I go to the admin directory, looks like I can do yarn build. Okay. Here, yarn serve. this is, I'm thinking I'm changing my mind on this. This might be too much to just to wander through. So it's just a blend of your names. I get it. That makes sense. All right, so this was a fun little diversion, but ultimately, I think I need to do a little more research on this before I try to go very far. I do want to look at. I don't know where it's actually going to start doing some API stuff because it's apparently all there. Yeah, we don't have that letter. There's more chat in here. It's the nice thing about working with people all over the world is you end up with a lot of interesting language issues and character sets and all of that. And I've been lucky enough to mostly not have to worry about that too much, but I should probably worry about it more than I do. All right, so let's go back, kind of recenter where we were at. So we created a video model. We have the idea of an individual video. We do have a video listing that we can show, but these things don't really, there's not really anything meaningful here just yet. So is your first name then pronounced Malt? Is that it? Malt in chat, be easier to say it that way, I suppose, if that's the correct pronunciation. Saying that API platform is awesome. I keep hearing that. I just haven't had a chance to play with it before, really. And it looks quite heavy to get going. I really thought that the admin interface, I heard good things about that as well. I just don't understand how you would do this within, so demoapiplatform.com, your own API entry point. I don't know what my API entry point is. I don't see anything. I guess I can just try to go to /API and see if it does anything. There's a Malte. Well, look at that. That is cool stuff right there. Wow. So I want to see what it did to my entity, if anything. Malte. So it's Malte. Is that correct then? Let's see. Version. Awesome. Cool. So video. Let's see what we got. So it derived everything from API resource, apparently, which is pretty amazing. Can I post stuff? Code 400 invalid input. Awesome. Try it out. Yay, this is actually awesome. Because if this works the way it looks like it does, it's going to be pretty awesome. Vimeo ID, parameter, execute response. Can't parse JSON raw results. Okay, so what part of this wasn't Well, it was a little too good to be true, perhaps. Wonder if my Mac is doing something weird with strings, quotes, and things. Speaking of different character sets and whatnot, try it out. Let's just publish it like that. Server response. No, it can't parse JSON raw results. Well, it came back with a status 200. I'm going to do that in just 1 second here. I want to see if it actually has been creating these. Yeah, it did. All right, cool. So it was actually working. It just was doing something a little different. So that is, I think that is amazing that this worked. And I'm not even doing anything. I did absolutely nothing to have this up and running. The only thing is that this is pretty basic. This assumes that all of this information would always be public, so I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff that I'll need to do to get these things working a little better, a little more securely if certain people don't have access to all the videos, for example. But just out of the box, this is pretty slick. So I would consider this worth it for me tonight. Yeah. Sweet. Okay, so I wonder then, I'm going to try this. Why not? Let's try, I'm going to create a brand new project just to hold this. And I'm going to use yarn create, I don't remember what that command was. Create React app, right? Create React app. And let's call this admin.astrocasts. And if we go into that directory, once all of this build nonsense is completed, we can do yarn build. And then we can finish following these directions, which were to yarn add API platform admin. Cool. Let's see what this has here. No script ID root. All right. Class app extends component. All right, so class app extends component. We need to bring in Hydra admin, and then render just should bring back start it, edit source code app, and save and reload. Let's use this. And I don't remember, do I have HTTPS? I do. Awesome. This command's taking considerably longer than the first time. All right. All right, so that's not working. Let's do yarn start. was the serve command I needed to do? Build. All right, let's see how this looks. Unable to retrieve API documentation. Oh, that's a bummer. So close. Hydra. Serve cache for a service worker. Well, yeah. Hybrid, not found. Yeah, this can't be reached at all. Oh, I need -S. Maybe that'll be a different. If not, network. Wonder if this is a cores thing. I think I saw something. Yeah. Cores allow origin. That's probably the problem. All right. Let's also allow see if I can get away with that. Okay, so it actually gave me an error this time. 500, yeah. Didn't think I'd get away with that. Let's try it again. It looks like it's actually working. All right, something isn't working on this. Host. is LBL cores, defaults, paths, cores allow origin. It may be completely unrelated to this. Looks like it actually tried something that time. At least it looks like I'm in good company. It doesn't look like it's actually a case. Doesn't look like it's actually a case of it timing out, because it looks like it actually is there. It's responding with something. Something somewhere is not working though, which makes me think maybe it's in the service worker. But I have no idea how to get anything in there. Admin. Link in expose headers. Allow headers, expose headers. Let's see if that works. There we go. Wow. Huh. Well, it's still pretty awesome. Element does not exist, which resource not found, no route for get. From localhost 5000. Right. Why is it trying to get it from there? API videos. That looks like a bug. All right. Well, this is still pretty cool. It's a good place to start. I guess it's not too bad for an hour's worth of work. Getting to the point where we have a model, some migrations, some fixtures, and also admin backend. Let's see if I can create. Yeah, so there's something weird in the configuration here, because it's trying to make requests to a URL that doesn't make sense at all. Astrocasts API videos, post. What is this? Oh. All right. So I have the debug URI reload. So let's go to, where's the debug? dev web profiler, intercept redirects. I'm going to turn this off, and maybe everything will just get better. Actually, I'm going to go back here, and yep, brand new episode. So it actually created it. So one of the debug features you can turn on is it will intercept redirects, and anytime these API endpoints are creating something, they're redirecting somewhere, and that if this intercept redirects is on, it actually outputs HTML and lets you see where you're going to redirect, and then you can click it to actually do the redirect yourself. So yeah, that was probably mucking up a lot of this. So I'm gonna reload this. And see if we can go in and show these now. No, that's still called a 404. So that's the wrong URL. Edit did the same thing, I think. Yeah. Not found exception. Okay. So I'm going to do create. Choose today's date. There we go. So that worked. Yeah, so Josh just asked in chat why it's trying to go to API, and it's a great it's a great question. So if we click here, we see the URL. Well, it does a 404, but we can see that the route that it was requesting was API videos. I don't know why that's there. On the other hand, I'm also looking at this and realizing that this is the ID field. And I'm not sure why it thinks the ID contains /API/videos. I'm going to go see if that's in the database. I don't think it is. No, video ID isn't. I wonder if it's actually... I think maybe the problem here is that when we get this data, it's doing something weird. And API request, entry point, Astrocasts, docs, video, and then we're getting videos, Hydra members. So it is, so my video ID is just this. It's the ID that it's showing here appears to be this @ID thing. So I think that's probably related to this Hydra format for linking. It does seem like it's trying to go here again. I want, you know what? Could be working just on a fluke. Yeah, so Josh was saying maybe it's overcompensating, but the thing is, I didn't create any of this. It's created it all for me. The only thing that I'm thinking could be a possibility here is in source app. It's possible the entry point is the root. Maybe. So I'm going to try that and see if that works. It's also possible that this is not at all intended to be used in this decoupled fashion, like I'm doing it. And it's just mostly working. So we'll see here shortly. I'm guessing it shouldn't have worked at all if that API URL wasn't going to work. Let's go ahead and try this again. so it can't receive it because it needs to be pointing to that API. The directions for setting this up make it look like the API needs to be on its own. Root free, or it shouldn't be /API. It needs to be the root of the application. So I'm going to see if I can pull this up. Yeah, so it's possible that parts of the application here, the admin application, expect us to have a URL that is not what we have right now at all. I'm going to try and redo this bit here so I don't leave this with really bad settings. So there we go. Add that there. So that should still work. Let's look for PI platform admin API prefix. So prefix the IRS from entities. Yeah, so this looks like this person is complaining about exactly what we're seeing. Use 204 because it adds the prefix to the IRS, whereas it's useless. And this has been open since February 23rd and is still open. This was replaced, so I'm not really happy with this. Great. Same results. The hotfix could be this. All right, so I'll try this bit here. Entry points, fit header URL. And we'll see if this gets it to work. So if this gets it to work, I'm fine with that. So we need to bring in a few more pieces. API prefix for us is just /API. Custom fetch. And then we need to change our entry point. So the entry point can still be this URL, but we need to use now data provider. All right. Let's see. So we need to build. So I'm not sure if there are other similar solutions for API platform-based backends or just other backends as well for Symfony. I need to play around with more of them. I was super excited by everything that people were talking about Nova for Laravel. I haven't been able to take a look at that yet myself, but it looks beautiful. And while I'm really excited that there's anything at all here for this platform, API platform stuff, and that it just builds itself, which is pretty amazing, which I think is what Nova does. I'm a little nervous to see what it's like to actually tweak and update this. I don't know if okay, Josh is in chat and said it took 5 minutes to put it in top of a production app. Put Nova on a production app. Did it look as beautiful as it does in all the overviews? Yeah, great. That's awesome. All right, so let's try to reload this now and see if this works. Oh, no, I need to... entry point. So we still need to have that there, which I don't have. So we still need to have the actual entry point to be correct. So artisan commands to build out new CRUD models, the dream. Yeah, well, yeah. It looks like there's a bunch of maker stuff that we can do with the Symfony app as well. I don't know if it's going to be quite to that level, though. So we need to put API back here, redo the build dance. Start up the server, and yeah, hopefully this is just going to work. I'm guessing I can probably pretty easily just drop this into the Symfony application. But I think I'm going to have to do that offline just to make sure I don't waste a bunch of time on that and not get anywhere useful. Here we go. Is it not serving? Oh no, it was on a different. There we go. All right, so it's showing things again. If I show, awesome. So now it's actually working. So that fix seems to have worked. Let's see if edit works. Edit works. It isn't showing the ID, which I don't think is important. But I would have expected it to show the actual ID instead of this ID, because this ID is not useful to anybody except for the API. So it's kind of weird. Show, cool. And if I go back to videos, awesome. It is very fast. So yeah, there is that. That's pretty awesome. So I think this is cool. This was a good thing. I don't see delete yet, but I'm guessing there are ways to actually do that. Oh, I guess you can select things to delete. Brand new episode, string. Let's see if I can delete everything here, except for the fixtures. Cool. Cool. Well, I guess I'm pretty happy about this. Not sure what I can do with it just yet, but this does seem like it could be a good way to build out this admin API and the actual backend itself for the administration. So it's a good starting point. At least I've seen it now. I can kind of work from there. All right, so let's go back to list of things to do. Individual video, video listing. Let's actually do individual video page. I kind of thought we weren't going to do this, but I'm changing my mind. So let's go back here and spin console. All right, so here, videos. Did it not make them? Source controller. Huh. I feel like this is the second time this has happened where I've thought it had created things and it didn't. Huh. There's something weird here. All right, so videos, I don't want the controller name. That's just annoying. I'm not going to do this anyway. I'm going to do public function video. Get the video repository again. And let's return videos show. We're going to use an individual video this time. Find by ID. And so we need to create a route. And I need to remember how to do that part, actually. Symfony property. I think it was property. Symfony route property. Param converters. I always forget what those were called. All right, so blog. So I'm going to switch this to videos ID. And then we'll get a param converter here. And we want to convert so in this case, we don't actually need this anymore. So we're going to do video. And we're going to convert this to, or from a video. There we go. Do we have video up here? I think it's going to be able to use that. If it is, that's going to be good. So let's try video. This is going to complain because it doesn't have show. So we need to go to templates and create a show template. I'm going to copy home. I'll just keep it simple. Copy index, create show twig. All right, and we're going to, this is going to fail, so we're going to say video.title. We don't need this nonsense, and I think we had block content. Unless it was, now it's still body, okay. Video title. And let's just see if this works. And we're going to use the home page to create links. I don't remember the twig stuff for generating URLs. Twig Symfony URL path. Yes, we just need to give it the name. So we'll do video, and then we can specify the bits. So ID video.id. All right, let's see if the page loads. Generate URL name, route video. All right, so inside the videos controller, these are both named videos, so we need to change this one to show. And then we use that in the twig template. So path to video show. Awesome. And so now we have links to these to /video/ID. Class of video does not exist. All right, so I guess we do have to specify it. So sometimes these are smart enough, sometimes they aren't, the annotations. So we need to do app entity video. There we go. But that, oh, actually that's fine because it's not showing anything. So let's go to show. We'll say div and then p video.description. Sweet. Episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, episode 4. And now I'm going to try and do something. I'm going to try and get into my Vimeo account. Where is it? There we go. So I'm going to use this ID for one of them. And I'm going to use this fancy backend to try and get Astrocasts Live Session 5 in there. So create title Cast Live Session 5 podcast redesign. Published today, and Vimeo ID of that. And then I was looking earlier at what we can do for the Vimeo API. So I think I have this up. I'm just going to copy the embed code directly from it here. So do iframe. Invalid JSON format. There we go. So I'm just going to copy the embed from here and do title, full screen iframe, app ID. I'm going to remove that. 0. Vimeo ID. Cool. So it's going to fail for almost all of them, but for the new one we added, it should work just fine. So yeah, so it's going to, sorry that video doesn't exist. Great, makes sense. If we go back to the home page, we should now see Astrocasts Live Session 5. And here we go. So I think this is going to work pretty nicely to be able to quickly populate the episodes that have been recorded and published. If we're going to look at a little bit more tailwinds, if we go back to the home page, we've been doing PY16. That's not the important part. I've been using container MX Auto, but the main container, let's see here. That's interesting. I don't see any width. All right, well, I'm not going to worry about that now. Let's do show again, and let's wrap this. There we go, and see what this has done. So this should contain it a bit, but also give us a little bit of padding and center it. There we go. That looks weird. PX4. Not exactly sure. There must be some offset div somewhere. Iframe. Let's see what happens if we do that. Huh. You know, it looks like the container is actually a different width, so maybe that's to be expected. Okay. So MX Auto, PX4, and container. So we do that specifically here as well. Must be something on iframe that makes it go full width. That makes this not work quite right. Yeah, because that looks like we'd expect. This. Okay. This iframe width. How is its width computed? 1920. There we go. All right, so that's not exactly better, but at least I have a better understanding about why things were the way they were. So I'm going to change container to not, or change that div to not be container, but still have it be centered. Let's add some inline styles here. Max width 100%, height auto. Let's see if that does anything interesting for us. Max width 100%. Let's add container again. I don't know if I know the Peter Griffin CSS meme, unfortunately. With height. Let's see, title, width, height, style, width, height. Oh. All right, well, I actually liked it better the other way anyway. I wonder if I just drop this, if that'll have any interesting impact. No. I guess as long as I'm doing any CSS here, it's going to be doing something weird. Okay. And if I remove width and height, it just gets really tiny. All right. Well, I'm not actually trying to get this going 100% at this point, so I think this will be fine for now. And drop it out of the container, but leave it centered just in case somebody has a monster screen. Actually, let's leave the PX off also. So if people happen to have exactly a 1920 by 10 for 1920 by 1080 screen, it'll fit exactly right, which I think is probably okay for now. Let's see, we're way out for time. We've got about 10 minutes left, so I think this is probably a good stopping point. We've been able to hack some interesting things on here. I need to do some research on how we can better handle the admin side of things, particularly with security. We don't have any security at all on this application yet. So in order to have, well, I think I did have an admin. It's one of the first things that we did was just add an admin dashboard, but it wasn't terribly complicated, and it's really sort of basic. So if there's anything else we need to do, like find a way to protect this URL, which isn't actually going to be handled by PHP anyway, I really don't know how that's supposed to work. It's possible we're supposed to offload all of that to the admin application itself, where it's going to determine what's available based on the users who's logged in which case maybe it won't be too bad. But it's a lot of unknowns right now, and I don't really want to publish this to the actual live site as is. So this is going to have to stay in my local directory for a little bit longer, but it shouldn't be too long before I'll be able to start publishing the post-processed, really nice versions of the live screencasts, and then eventually also non-live screencasts. So that's kind of the goal. It's kind of it's kind of where I'm headed. And let's get back to the lists. So we have an individual video page. It's very basic, but it actually works. We haven't done any Vimeo integration yet, but I think that's probably what we'll do the next evening session of Astrocasts. I'm going to call Vimeo our video model done for now. Does anyone have any questions before I sign off for the evening? Or any ideas for what you'd like to see on this next, and whether or not it's interesting to see me hack around on completely brand new projects I've never looked at before? All right. I'm going to go ahead and sign off then. Have a good night, and I will see you all next week.